Hey everybody, welcome back to our Brothers in the Wild man cave here. Um, we wanted to do a little series of videos to help our viewers and followers get to know us a little better. And we want to say thanks to all those viewers and followers out there. We really appreciate it. So what we thought we'd do is just kick off by telling a few stories about our most memorable hunts.
Yeah, I think so far for me, I think my most memorable deer hunt anyways is the buck I shot last year. Not only because he was my biggest buck, but just because of everything that kind of went into that morning hunt. But Cooper, you want to start us off and tell us about your favorite hunt?
Sure. My favorite hunt, I think, was my first deer because I love the atmosphere of where we were. It's my favorite place to go camping or hunting, and just that we were all together, and it was like the first thing that we ever got on film, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, first.
We had started filming quite a bit before that, but
That was our first successful
we'd
hunt
never
that we
been
filmed together.
never been lucky enough to get a kill shot on video. So
That was definitely a special moment, that being our first official Brothers in the Wild video, I guess you could say.
so tell us a little about the hunt, Coop.
Well, it was on Halloween actually, and the night before Halloween we had gone out, and I had shot at some deer, and I had kind of missed. I was
Kind of
having
missed
a
you flat missed, but
yeah.
and he was a pretty nice buck too. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was having a rough time. Well, we had saw all these deer in this one specific spot. And my dad said, "We'll come back in the morning. Everything will be fine. We'll come back in the morning." So we come back in the morning and we go to our exact same spot. It was right across the highway. So we go right across the highway and we're looking at these deer, and those deer are right there. So then we see this buck, and a couple of, I think if I remember right, a couple of does went and ran, and then we see this buck and a couple of other does, and my dad said, "Hey, there's a buck right there," and I was like, "Oh, really? Where?" And so then
We were looking for that big buck.
Yeah,
on
looking
one
for
side
the
of the
big one.
highway.
Yeah,
And when we didn't see him, we decided we'll drive around over here and get a
Yeah.
different angle looking into that basin. And as we're driving down there, I looked on the opposite side of the highway, and here's this nice buck that Cooper ended up getting, just feeding along this ridge with a couple does.
yeah, and it was nice that morning. The sun was out, but it was really cold.
Yeah, I remember it was freezing that
Yeah,
morning.
it was. So we get over to the side of the road, and they're asking me, do you see him and stuff? And I got adjusted, and then I was like, okay, yeah, I see him. So then we're looking and we're getting all set up, and my dad's like, hey, get the camera out. And so my brother gets the camera out, so we're all good, we're ready to go. Well, what I remember was I couldn't exactly see the whole deer. I mean, I know you zoom in, but I couldn't exactly see the whole deer. The only thing I could see was his leg and his shoulder. So then my dad said, put it right behind the shoulder and squeeze. So I was thinking, okay, thank God I'm in the right spot. So then, yeah, I shot him, and
The rest is history.
Put the
right?
smack down on him.
yep.
And Chase was filming from the back seat of the truck, and when the gun went off,
It jumped.
he jumped. So
Didn't have we
you
were
see the
newbies.
deer, and then the camera jumps, and then when he comes back, the deer's on the ground.
Yeah.
But it was
It was-
still pretty cool.
it's rookie
Walking up on the
camera.
first deer with one of your boys is a pretty awesome feeling.
Yeah, that was a cool hunt. So I guess what's your favorite deer hunt?
Well, I can't pin it down to just one. I mean, I've been on a ton of deer hunts in my life. I'm way older than you guys. But hands down, there's two that are right up there at the top, and that's your first one and the hunt Cooper just talked about, his first one. And since he just told the story of his first one, I'll tell the story of yours. We were up hunting up north by Pinedale, one of our favorite spots that I've hunted since I was these guys' age. And we had scouted it out. We knew there was like 7 or 8 bucks that Chase would have killed any one of them hanging out on this one ridge. And so we headed up there first light right at opening morning, and we actually had spotted 2 big bucks up on the very top of the ridge, and we were making a plan to go after them. And we loaded up our stuff and decided we're going to sneak along this tree line, and we went up over one little knob, maybe 200 yards from into our stock, and looked down the slope, and there's 4 or 5 bucks right there, like 100 yards away, and they had spotted us. We got Chase set up, and luckily 2 of them did the old trot a little ways and turn around and stop and look back, and Chase picked out the biggest one and smoked him. First shot, 170
That
yards.
deer right there.
Yeah, that deer right up there. So it was a pretty good morning. He had his deer down by 7:30
Yeah, that was
opening morning on his first deer hunt ever.
the fastest hunt that I can remember.
That was pretty awesome.
Opening morning, I think that's really the first animal I shot on opening morning. But that probably being a close second for me. My number one hunt would have to be the buck I shot this year. Just everything that kind of went into that entire deer season, and from going on a bow hunt, and we only saw 1 buck that entire bow hunt, and then opening weekend of deer season, of rifle season, we couldn't find anything. We struggled finding deer. Once we found deer, they were in the timber, could never get a shot at one. And then when we went up a little farther north where we were going to be elk hunting, I was carrying my bow the first couple days. And the last day, thank you to Cooper here, I wasn't going to go hunting the last morning. I was going to sleep in because we had to drive home that day. But Cooper told me, he's like, no, you need to go up there. You guys saw those big bucks yesterday morning when you were bow hunting. So you need to go up there with your rifle and see if you can knock one down. And I was like, all right, Coop, I'll go up there. So I took the camera, hiked up the trail well before light, and that was hands down the most memorable morning I can remember, because I saw the 2 big bucks in the one basin that we were seeing all of them in. Couldn't get a shot at them because of the fog, and I was working my way around the peak really to hunt my way through this burn back to camp. And I look up on the next peak, and I see the buck I ended up shooting and another buck come over the top. And I knew that they were both good bucks. So once they started feeding, I kind of looped around the backside of this little razorback ridge. And I knew there was a little saddle. If I crawled up there, I knew it was going to be about 200-300 yard shot. So I crawled up there, and the buck I shot was the only one standing there. And I was looking for the other deer, because the other deer was quite a bit bigger than him.
Yeah, he was quite a bit bigger. Had a drop
He was a
tine.
lot a bit bigger than that deer.
He was a 200-inch deer.
Yeah, and I remember just looking at my phone, like, I've been here 30 minutes looking for this giant deer, and this buck's just looking at me. And at the time, I couldn't, with the little bit of fog that was there, I couldn't really tell how big my buck actually ended up being. And when he turned his head, I saw the fork on his one side, and I was like, oh, that's a deer I want to shoot. So I got the camera set up on the pack, laid across my pack, ranged him at 258 yards, and he turned to walk up the hill, and I shot, hit him good. It sounded solid the way he was acting. I was like, oh, got him. And he ended up running up the hill. I had to shoot at him 2 more times. Luckily, the last shot, I knew I knocked him down. I saw him go down, and and just thinking, okay, he's down. I don't know if he's dead, but I know he's down up there. So I loaded up all my stuff as quick as I could, went up there, and when I got up there to where he was laying there, that's where he had died there. And I remember coming over the top, this little knob right there, and thinking, wow, that's a big deer. Like, it was...
That's always a good feeling.
Yeah.
When there's no ground shrinkage.
And just where he died, it was literally the prettiest place you could ask for to have to quarter a deer. And
Right on top of the mountain.
And yeah, snow-covered peaks. I mean, that was the most memorable feeling I think I'll ever have, is walking up on that buck, considering it was my first solo deer
That's always pretty cool.
that I'd shot by myself, and I was able to get most of it self-filmed, and that was hands down my favorite deer.
Well,
hunt.
you know, Cooper and I, even though we couldn't be up on the mountain with Chase, you know, we were hunting down around the bottom of the mountain, and we got some pretty good radio, so we were able to. We kind of got some play-by-play over the radio from Chase, so we knew he was sneaking on the bucks. We heard him shooting, and then when he recovered the buck, he came back and he's like, I got him. So even though we weren't with him, we could share in the experience over the radio a little bit. And then I had to drop Coop off at camp and load up my pack, and I had to head up the mountain to help him pack it out.
Thanks for that. I don't know if I could have done that by myself. Wasn't a bad pack out, but it was steep. So, for me anyways, my favorite group deer hunt, hands down for me, has to be Cooper's.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. We were all together, and
That's,
pretty special day.
yeah.
Watch Cooper shoot his first deer, and we all got to experience it together.
Especially after
That's what we love the most, is hunting together and all being together. So
yeah,
those times are pretty precious.
Especially after the year he went through last year, you know, he missed a big deer. Opening day, his first year hunting, and not being able to actually kill a buck that year, and then to really basically hunt that same exact area
Yeah.
and shoot a buck. And for that to be our first Brothers in the
Redemption.
Wild film, that
That's
was really special to me. Just knowing how I felt when I shot my first deer, seeing Cooper shoot his first deer, that was awesome for me to see. I was glad I was there.
Well, we're gonna keep this thing going, and you know we'll put out some more videos where we're just sitting around BSing, telling you guys a few stories, maybe about some elk hunts and some antelope hunts and some bear hunts, and
Who knows?
hopefully we'll have some more successful hunts to talk about at the end of this season.
Yeah. Thanks for following us, guys.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoy this video. If you do, like, comment, and subscribe to our page. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
Tell all your friends to go follow us.
Tell all your friends to watch. Thank you guys for following us. It means a lot.
Yeah, thanks.
Yep. Thanks for watching. You all stay wild.
Stay wild.